Hi, my name is Karen Johnson. I am Nisga'a. I come from the community of Gitlach which is Old Ianch. I belong to the House of Whitley and Spakes, which is the House of the Killer Whales. I nearly returned to the Northwest so that I could do some work with my people. I am teaching the ESWK program and I'm enjoying it. It's been quite an experience and the students have been warm and excellent. For those of you who are not familiar with what the ESWK program, ESWK is the acronym for the Essential Skills for Work program. It's an 8.5 month program purchase, and it prepares the students for employment or further education, and it's mostly a motivational program to keep the students in the school system. Beside me sits one of the students that began in October with the group. It's Angie Clayton. I would like to spend some time talking to Angie about her thoughts about ESWK. Before we begin, Angie, would you give us a little bit of a background of who you are, where you come from, and
Well, my name is Angie Clayton. I'm from Lakalzap. I come from the house of Nice Welks, and I've been coming here since October alongside with my husband.
Angie, tell me one of the things that drew you to come into ESWK to begin with.
Well, one of the first reasons why I wanted to come was further and better myself, my education.
And have you found that the materials and knowledge that you've gained in ESWK helpful?
Yes, I did. I am working now and kind of struggling my way through school. and but other than that, my job is going well, and working at home as well with my 3 children, and everything is doing very well.
I know that you practice a lot in your language and culture, and you're very, very involved with your house. At the beginning, I mentioned that your knowledge of who you were, where you came from, what house you belonged to, and your knowledge of the language and culture was an important part to identify you as a Nisga'a citizen. Um, do you think that helped you feel a little stronger in your pursuit of further learning in ESWK?
Oh, for sure. That's like, I don't know how you say it, but that's like pretty well my way of life. Like, I have to look up to and live up to.
Hmm. Well, Angie, we've really appreciated your humor and your cooperation and your willingness to do whatever is asked of you. And you are always so willing to share your knowledge of what is happening. You know, you've been a rock, and it does really help the rest of the group. You know, we are family. We've been together for 8.5 months. We should know each other. But have you had fun?
I have. It's been quite the learning experience. Everybody not knowing each other really at the beginning, and now everybody's
No, too much.
knows a little bit, but and it's good. It's all good.
Other student who I have sitting here is Marty Clayton. He shares the same last name as Angie because they're husband and wife.
I am 32. I'm from Terrace. Lived here all my life. Eventually getting adopted underneath the House of Duke. Adopted mother is Debbie McNeil.
Marty, tell me a little bit of your experience in ESWK so far. You've been with us since the beginning of October, and we're going to be finishing next week.
Well, for the class, it was really good. You know, I enjoyed coming to class, getting to know everybody. There's a lot of learning experiences, especially the computer. I really enjoyed computer classes. I didn't have a Bibo before. Now I can't get off of it. Like it, I didn't think I knew a lot of stuff about computers, but I did. Like, I already had it in my knowledge until someone showed me, what it's for and what to use it for. And I don't mind it.
Yeah. This is another part of the acknowledgement that I spoke of. When we talk about acknowledging what we know, I didn't mean just our knowledge about the Nisga'a language and culture. It's what we've learned through our everyday life. And we sometimes consider those not very important because we learned those on our own.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that when you came into ASWK, you used the little bits that you already had knowledge of, and you just made it grow.
Yeah.
So, Marty, in that sense, have you felt like you were successful?
Yes. Yeah.
And you have done wonders in computers, considering you had a late start.
Yeah.
And I know that you've already ventured out and done some job searches and stuff like that. That's a good start.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wish you well in your pursuit for your entry into the culinary arts program. And I know if you keep working at it, that you'll get there.
Yeah.
And you will be a credit to Nisga'a citizenship. And this is the beginning. 6 great starts for 2008. I think we should all be proud of ourselves.
Yep.
Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
Stephen Derrick is a member of our ESWK class. Stephen, tell me a little bit about how this program compares to any other program that you've been in before.
Well, it's a pretty neat program I've been in, but before I started learning this facility, I knew nothing about the Canadian genocide. And when I found out about it, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part, too, is my grandma was in part of that, and it's just pretty hardcore.
Mm-hmm. Have you enjoyed being in ESWK?
Oh yeah, the people who work here are very open-minded and creative, and they set up groups, and I find it humanitarian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know when you began in October, you did mention several times that you didn't speak any of your language or knew nothing about Nisga'a culture. Are you learning a few things?
Since I've been here, I learned a lot, and it's pretty neat.
And what are you working on right at this very day?
Working on, I don't know.
Your sash.
Yes.
Stephen is working on his sash for a closing ceremony, and it's his first try at designing and cutting out. So this is his big experience in learning a little bit more about the Nisga'a culture. He's doing his crust for his sash. Are you having fun, Stephen?
It's not too bad.
You get to iron yet?
No.
So, thanks, Stephen.
Yep.
One of our younger members in the class is Charmaine Skadane.
From the Nisga'a house, and my Nisga'a name is Danla Matakale.
Very undecided about whether she wanted to remain in ESWK or do something else. And she's lucky to be so young and to be able to just think of things and try to decide which one she wants to get into. But she listens well, and she listened to everyone in the class. We wanted her to stay with us because she is one of the most artistic young women I know. Little quiet, but when she's that quiet, I know that creativity is hard at work. Charmaine, how do you like being here when you're here? I know you're working now and you're working almost full time, so it must have done you some good. So yeah, talk a little bit about your what you feel, you know, and what it's done for you in the workforce so far.
Well, I really liked working with the computers most of the time, and one of the programs that for the computer that Fern taught us on was the movie maker program, and I wanted to make the movie on my daughter Aliana, and with some other pictures of my family, and I was hoping I'd get it done before her birthday, but then I kind of got a job and I wasn't here as much as I wanted to. But it's finished, it's just not on DVD. And I thought it was a really good program. And it was tough at first, but I got the hang of it and I got to learn how to use it with learning from Fern's demonstrations. Yeah, I just enjoyed being here when I was here. And I guess I just needed to work harder because I wasn't really working my hardest, but I tried my best to be here as much as I can. And I liked working with everybody here, and you were a good teacher.
Thank you.
The difference with this program was we did more about our culture and spiritual, and we did circle, and we always connected. We got to connect with each other and bond with each other, and that's how we got close. And that's a big difference.
I know you went to high school, fairly recently. Have you found that this program has offered you a little bit more than what you were getting in high school?
Yeah, and there's more help, I guess.
More help?
Yeah, and yeah, the teachers weren't really connected all the time with some of the other courses that I went through.
That's good to know. We need all the learning we can get so that any programs that we offer in the future will just get better and better. Beside Mrs. Heather Skadane, she is a member of the class who also began in October. Heather is the eldest member of our class and has been a really welcome member because it has balanced out the youth as well as the elder group in our class. We have learned a lot because Heather is well versed in her knowledge of the ways of the old Nisga'a culture and the language. We also are lucky to have Heather with us because she is a survivor of the residential school system and has spent time talking with some of us who were fortunate enough to be present when she spoke of her experiences. Heather speaks about residential school, and though it hasn't been, an unpleasant experience listening to her, we have learned so much about the sadness and the hardship that the young Nisga'a children went through, and they were so lucky to have Heather as a dorm monitor to look after the younger people. And Heather, maybe you could spend some time talking about which school you went to and what it's done to prepare you a little bit for what you want to do.
Well, I went to the Lytton residential school, St. George's Indian Day School, from an early age, and I stayed there for about 3 years, and then in 19
62 and went to the Edmonton Indian Residential School for 3 years. And it was rough the first few years, going taken away from my family at an early age. It wasn't easy, but I managed. And the thing that I didn't like about it was